Hi guys, and welcome to Theatre Talk with Wayne, where I discuss some of the shows that I have been in the last 12 years at the Mass Theatre. Today I'll be talking to you about Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. This was done by Claremont Dramatic Society, and it's a Stoppard, Tom Stoppard, which is a very well-known absurdist writer. If you don't know what this is all about, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are two characters from the William Shakespeare production of Hamlet. They have two extremely minor roles in the show Hamlet. But in this show, which is actually to me as a comedy, kind of shows you what went on with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern during the time of Hamlet. And in the show, we do get to see Hamlet, but all the main characters in the production of Hamlet are minor roles in this production. So this was in 2017. So this is one of the 6 shows that I did in 2017. I was literally just in rehearsals almost every single day, and this show was one of them. I think I was doing Jane Eyre when I was also doing A Woman of No Importance, and the director of this show was also in A Woman of No Importance, and she told me that she was needing to find someone to play a particular role, and I said to her, I'm willing to play that character. It is not unheard of to have directors to poach for their cast. If you look at Dialing for Murder, there was no auditions. The Breakfast Club, no auditions. I kind of believe that if you feel that you know these actors extremely well, you don't need to audition for them. If you know that they'll be able to perceive or the character, or if you're able to mold the actor into the character that you want, I would say, because in the years of me doing shows, I've always heard that you are a director's dream because you always listen to what the director says. I think in my later years I am struggling with that because I'm kind of trying to find myself of how to create a character or create the history of the character, which sometimes I'm always wrong, which pisses me off, people. But anyway, so this was a fun cast. I think this was my first. Yes, this was my first production with Claremont Dramatic Society. So it took me 9 years. Yeah, it took me 9 years just to do a show with them. I always considered them to be like an isolated island, the society. Very young, which I kind of like. But I'm glad that I did this. It was so much fun to do, and I was also acting with a lot of people that I wanted to act with. You know, you know, because you're only as good as you are with people around you, I would say. I was also being told that I'm a much stronger actor with a stronger female lead. I can never understand that. So if I'm acting opposite a cardboard box, obviously I'm going to shine like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Moving on. So my character was part of a troupe of actors, and we were paid to relive different scenes. But the way that the writer wrote it, we were depicting what is happening in Hamlet themselves. My friends came to see the show and they were so confused. Clearly, they didn't do Hamlet in matric. I did, but I didn't read the book. I'm actually surprised that I passed matric, to be honest. So this was a lot of drama, so this might be a long video. Phew. So I obviously, like I stated before, I did a lot of shows in 2017, and at the end of Jane Eyre, we had a cast party, and someone brought like I think 8 bottles of red wine, and believe me, I literally almost drank all of them. And at the same time, it was my cousin's 40th birthday, and she wanted to go out. So I'm like, okay, let's go out. I'm trying to think who else was with us. It was our stage manager, and it was me and this other guy that I'm not going to mention names. I am so sad. Seriously, I'm so sad. I'm not going to tell that story. But anyway, so what happened is I get hopelessly drunk because I drank red wine and go clubbing at Oblivion and having freaking well Hunter's Dry. So we landed up at our friend's place, who is actually in the show of Rosencrantz and Giuldenstern that did. And I was there and I got, I think, oh jeez, I found a bathroom and proceeded to vomit everything out. And it was intense. So she left me there. No, my cousin left me there, which is hilarious because this isn't the first time that she has left me at someone else's house. I'm actually gonna tell her that. But anyway, so I stayed over and I was lying on the couch, and she was also lying on the couch. So I was getting cold, so I went to her bed and went to sleep. So she passed out on her couch, and I went to her bed so I can get some freaking warmth. And she was a good host. She made me breakfast. She made me breakfast, and we needed to get her car cleaned, so we went to Claremont to get her car cleaned. And I was still wearing the clothes that I wore the previous night, and in my pocket was a prop, which was a rat. The rat was used in Jane Eyre, and I think we went a little bit crazy at the cast party, and somehow it was in my pocket. And yeah, so then we then left to go to rehearsal. I'm telling you now, I was dying. It kind of felt like my epiglottis was pointing the other direction, so I was keep on gagging. I just wanted to gag. Um, and then I don't know what happened, but the 2 hour rehearsal became a 7 hour rehearsal, and I was like, what the? I'm literally dying here, wishing I was dead, and now we're having an impromptu 7 hour flipping rehearsal. I think we rehearsed around about 12 in the afternoon, and it went right up to 7 o'clock at night. Gosh, I wanted to die. Oh, shoot. Yeah. There were some like intense scenes with regards to us as actors. The two leads were a little bit concerned that the play actors, which was us, it was like 5 of us, weren't really quick on our responses to the story being told, and we could only do so much with the person who doesn't know their lines in order for us to shine as actors. That was brought across, and but we worked through it. Believe me, our show was absolutely phenomenal. We had so much fun. What else can I tell you? Oh yes. So let's look at this right. So the Saturday was the Jane Eyre cast party and my cousin's birthday. That's when I vomited and stayed at my friend's house. And then we moved to rehearsal and I almost died the next day because we had a 7 hour rehearsal. So the next week, it's my cousin's actual party. And that was intense. It was a Star Wars themed 40th birthday party with karaoke. So you can imagine. But by the time that happened, I got sick. I lost my voice. I think my body was just run down at that time because I was doing so much at the same time, and to be honest with you, there was a lot of stuff happening at home that I didn't want to deal with. Um, so yeah, so I tried my damnedest to be really, really busy. So then obviously the next day I have rehearsals, and I just decided to arrive to rehearsals in my pajamas because I think we moved into the theatre. See, that's how close these shows were. Um, so yeah, and in this one scene we're all supposed to die. And we're supposed to leave the scene when the lights go off, but because they were redoing the scene the whole time, I fell asleep. So here I am, falling asleep on the cold ass floor in my pajamas. Phew. Um, the the final dress rehearsal. We have two dress rehearsals: the final dress rehearsal and then the final dress rehearsal with an audience. So the final dress rehearsal without an audience, I would say, one of the characters fell off a crate, and I would say sprained his wrist, not broke his wrist. I cannot recall if it was broken. It was never in like a plaster Paris cast. It was one of those wrap things. Not wrap things, you know those things. Just it's like a glove, literally like a glove, and it's just strapped. But anyway, so that happened, and trying to get him to the hospital, plus his car to the hospital, it was a bit much. And the actors in those 2 days, I don't think we had a show with the old people. Ah, jeez. Gosh, that was only like, what, 3 years ago, and I can't remember. Bloody hell. So they decided to call someone in. This is what they were planning to do on opening night, to call someone in, right? And the person who was playing opposite me most of the show, she was going to then play the player and just read the lines. And then her replacement was going to be my partner. Now, I actually forgot to tell you what my character does in the flippin' show. So basically, my character is the ingenue actor. And in the William Shakespeare days, the young boys always played the female parts. So can you just imagine Romeo and Juliet? Wow, this is very slanty. But anyway, so the actor who kind of broke his wrist was a team player, and he was there for opening night, hands and all, and we cheated a lot of his scenes in a sense because in the one scene we actually come out of barrels. But in order for us to do that, we had to crawl behind not debris, but crawl behind boxes in order to look like we came out of the barrel itself. I have to admit there were certain people in this cast that were a little bit strange. We had one guy who was part of the cast. He was there for the first rehearsal and he just disappeared. The director tried to get hold of him, and boom, we don't know what happened to him. It's like been 3 years and we don't know. So he was obviously replaced by her husband, which was to me the star. I mean, he has no acting ability, but he is fun to watch. And this other girl who was in our group, strange. She's so freaking strange. We're now waiting to go onto stage, climbing out of the freaking barrels. And what is she doing? She's flipping sleeping. I'm like, what the hell? It's like, you get those eccentric people in the theatre world, in the acting world. Believe me, I mean, look at Helen Roman Carter and Winona Ryder. I mean, they're kind of strange, but you kind of like that strangeness because it makes everything very fun. But when you have people who are like borderline crazy, I don't know. I don't know. Um, so I was the ingenue, but I only had 3 lines in the whole entire play, and most of the time on stage, I'm also wearing a dress. So what was so nice and freeing of this production is the fact that I could have done absolutely everything I wanted to on that stage. I was reacting to absolutely everything that was happening on stage, that my character would be overhearing anything. And every time we had an applause at the end of the show, they loved my character, which was really, really nice to feel. I just kind of wish I had that every time I performed on stage. Am I the most hated person? Sorry. Sorry, I just want to single all my personalities together. That even made sense at all. I'm not even talking properly. That's probably why everyone hates me. But besides the point, this is actually tea, not alcohol. So that was fun. Thank you very much for allowing myself to waffle. This is an extremely long video, and I hope to see you next week.